Welcome back to English with Ethan. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Listen, if you've ever felt completely stuck in your language learning journey, or maybe you know a ton of vocabulary in your head, but you just kind of freeze up the moment you actually have to open your mouth, you are in exactly the right place. Today's explainer is a real game changer. We're going to look at some proven, highly structured techniques to transform your English from hesitant to completely natural. We're going to explore some powerful teaching methods, and we'll also be following an incredibly motivating 30-day speaking challenge from a guy named Arjun. As you'll see, we're going to help you stop simply studying English and start actually speaking it. So I want you to be totally honest with me right now. Do you want to speak English with more confidence? Like, do you want to understand native speakers effortlessly and sound totally natural when you reply? I know firsthand how incredibly frustrating it can be to spend literally hours studying grammar rules, only to feel a wave of panic when a real conversation happens. But I promise you, getting over that fear is absolutely possible. You just need to train your brain in a slightly different way. And that is exactly what we are going to do together today.
Section 1. The Key to Confidence. Unlocking Natural English.
Section 2. Tom's teaching story, a case study in confidence. Okay, let's dive into this. Our source material brings up a really heartwarming narrative about a teacher named Tom. Here's a direct quote from him. "I started giving free English lessons to some children in my neighborhood. I want to make a difference in their lives." The backstory here is just so touching. Tom met a young boy who desperately wanted to learn English, but simply couldn't afford the classes. So Tom just stepped up. He started teaching twice a week, focusing entirely on speaking and reading. This genuine, pure motivation to help is the perfect backdrop for our foundational lesson today. But, what happens on the student side of this equation? Let's take a look. So Tom notes that his student finally spoke English in front of the class for the very first time. He adds, "Seeing his confidence grow makes me happy." And wow, that perfectly captures our ultimate goal, doesn't it? That magical moment when the intense fear of making a mistake is finally replaced by the confidence to just speak out loud. Actually, it reminds me of another incredible source we're looking at today about a guy named Arjun. Arjun was terrified of speaking, so he took on a 30-day challenge to beat that fear. On day 1, he literally just stood in front of a mirror, completely nervous, and said, "Hello, my name is Arjun." It was simple, but he didn't run away. We are going to use Arjun's exact daily steps alongside Tom's methods to show you how to build that exact same confidence. Section 3. Essential Vocabulary Tools for a Better Future. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the phrase, "make a difference." It means to help improve a situation or have a positive effect on someone or something. Let's think back to Arjun's 30-day challenge. By day 15, he was exhausted. He had a brutal day at work and thought, you know what, I'll just practice tomorrow. But then he realized that if he stopped, skipping would just become a habit. So he pushed through and practiced for just 10 minutes. That small choice is exactly what makes a difference in your progress. Motivation isn't always going to be there for you, but discipline makes the difference. Next up, let's look at a very common, super useful grammar structure, must-have. We use this when we are almost entirely sure that something happened in the past. To put that into perspective, let's look at day 10 of Arjun's challenge. He bumped into his friend Rahul, and instead of just saying fine when asked how he was, Arjun actually explained he was learning English and had a real, unscripted mini conversation. When he walked away from that, Arjun must have felt incredibly proud, right? It's a highly natural phrase you'll hear native speakers use constantly to make logical deductions like that. And finally, the word grow, to become bigger, stronger, better, or to develop over time. I really want you to burn this definition into your mind. Confidence in speaking a new language is absolutely not a switch you just flip on. It is something you actively grow. Think about it like a plant. On day 25 of his challenge, Arjun realized he was actually starting to think in English. He'd look at a glass and just think, glass. He'd open a door and think, I am opening the door. He didn't get there overnight. His skills grew because he nurtured them every single day. Section 4. The Power of Repetition. Retraining your brain. Okay, I am going to read this very slowly, and I want you to really let it sink in. Repetition is the key to success in English. The more you repeat, the faster you improve. It's like carving a path through a forest. This is exactly why, on day 5 of his challenge, Arjun forced himself to talk about his daily routine every single morning. He would just say, I wake up at 7, I drink water, I have breakfast. These sentences were incredibly basic, but simple English is still English. He was carving permanent pathways in his brain through that daily repetition. Let's move on and see how this builds into an actionable system you can use today. Our source outlines 4 highly specific steps to use when practicing. Step 1, listen carefully to the phrase. Step 2, speak slowly. This is exactly how Arjun learns not to rush. He literally had to get his mouth used to the physical shapes of the new words. Step 3, speak at normal speed. And finally, step 4, copy the pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. By the time you hit step 4, you aren't just reading words off a page anymore. You are acting. You're mimicking the actual music of the language. Section 5, master your fluency, from reading to speaking. So to cross that bridge from passive reading to active speaking, you need some specific tactics. First, listen to conversations carefully. Second, answer questions out loud before the correct answer is even given. Third, and this is a big one, don't be shy about making mistakes. On day 20 of his challenge, Arjun made a mistake in front of his friends and felt super embarrassed. But his friend Rahul hit the nail on the head. He said, "Every mistake is a lesson. Kids don't worry about grammar when they learn to speak, right? They just try again." And fourth, practice speaking daily to rapidly improve your fluency. You literally have to open your mouth to see progress. Now, this slide brilliantly illustrates the exact difference between the two approaches. If you are just reading and listening on the left side there, you are stuck in passive learning. Sure, you have an internal understanding, but your spoken fluency is going to be a lot slower. But shadowing, which is on the right side, when you immediately copy the rhythm and intonation out loud as the speaker is talking, is highly active. It's a total game changer. It completely bypasses your fear because your brain is just too busy copying sounds to be nervous. This active practice is exactly what helped Arjun naturally start thinking in English by day 25. To wrap up today's explainer, I want to bring us right back to this beautiful, poignant takeaway from Tom's teaching story. Even small efforts can make a difference. This is perfectly echoed by Arjun on day 30, the final day of his challenge. He stood in front of that same mirror from day 1, smiled, and realized, this is not the end of my English journey. This is the beginning. So I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. What small effort will you commit to making today? Are you going to do 5 minutes of shadowing? Will you speak just one answer out loud? Commit to growing your confidence today and watch how rapidly your English transforms. Thanks so much for learning with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.